Can you explain, so after you and your wife split, when you guys got back together, could you walk me through slowly like what the first blowjob was like?
Welcome back to another splendid episode of The Careful Boys. We have with us Min, aka What's a Mortgage?
What's a mortgage?
And we got him in the hot seat for this one.
Ooh.
The way hot seat works is...
Oh, I watched it today.
Let's go. Okay.
What did you watch?
What with your wife?
Oh!
I saw that quietness in your face.
We went easy on her too, though.
Yeah, we did.
We did go easy on her. So we're just gonna ask you a series of questions. They're gonna get increasingly hotter in temperature. But as tradition, we always like to start out with Bart giving the possible coldest question that you could think of.
Okay, this is a cold one. You ready?
Yeah.
What? You can only make sounds.
Okay.
What does a rainbow sound like?
Damn, that's a good question.
But there's 7 colors though.
You didn't hear all 7?
No.
The 7 frequencies in that.
That is a fault of our ears. Then.
Yeah, okay, that's tight.
Yeah, is that good enough?
Yeah,
That's tight. That's tight. That's tight.
All right. What is 1 degree hotter than that?
Weak ass question.
When did you first get into business for yourself?
When did I get business for myself?
Drug dealing counts too. Drug dealing counts. It doesn't have to be registered LLCs.
In high school, we would go home. We would pass this liquor store that threw away their old Playboy hustlers. So we would take it out of the trash and then we would sell it to people in the kids in the neighborhood.
So how did you find that they had old
That's fucking
magazines?
hustle
I know
magazine.
about that shit.
They would just throw it out of the trash. So like
One day you just saw magazines stacked up.
my buddy saw it and he was smart. He left at my house so he doesn't get in trouble.
That's pretty
I
smart.
remember I was taking out the trash. My mom came out with this black bag and like my stomach just dropped. Like, oh, there goes the business.
You hardy boy!
Yo, but that's interesting. How many months back are the issues that they throw away? Like when do they expire?
I didn't know they threw away magazines.
Hustle never expired,
Only
baby.
30, 60 days. Like the magazine would expire.
And they just need to make shelf room?
Yeah, and they would just toss them out.
I didn't know they just
And then every
threw
once
them
in a while
in
they
the
threw out videos. And you know about video VHSs back in the days, those big boxes.
So you
I should have just threw away the boxes, but the boxes were so big, like so we would just sell those.
Yo, that's
To your classmates and stuff.
Correct.
That's a fucking dope ass hustle.
David Beckham, if you're watching this, I'm not ratting you out.
Oh, that's one of the smartest like kid hustles I've ever heard of.
dude, sex to kids? Come on now, bro.
I would have bought
Yeah,
that
in high school?
easy.
Yeah, everyone passed around that floppy disk or something. Like somebody's dad, they stole their dad's Playboy or something like that.
But you would have had to put on like fucking gloves and like
That was
examine
so
that mint
hard.
condition out the plastic, you know?
To have a fucking Playboy plug as a kid, that's like a
But the Hustlers was like the high paying one in Penthouse because that's when you saw the real. Playboy, you see the fuzz, but the Penthouse ones, that's what.
Playboy had too many fucking comics, bro.
Penthouse was like that one's so.
I like the comics though, I'm not gonna lie. That's just fun. It's all vintage and fun, you know what I mean?
In another video, you talked about how there's one point where you're making 600 G's a month.
Yeah.
What was the smartest thing you ever spent your money on, and what was the dumbest thing you ever spent your money on during that like super baller period?
The smartest thing I ever spent money on was reinvesting it in other branches to keep growing. So you have to reinvest your money to make money. So that was like the smartest thing I did.
What do you mean by branches?
Let's say I wanted a bunch of loan officers that work for another company to come over. I would reinvest in them. I would open up another office for them. I would put them there. I would cover some costs.
So you're building your business out by expanding other.
Correct. Oh. Yeah, spending money. The stupidest thing, I bought, I had a Bentley and I sold it for a Lamborghini that I never drove at all. And then I sold it again. And I think that because I was, drugged out of my mind, just didn't do the numbers correctly. And just it's cool to have a Lamborghini, but you never drove it because you just didn't, once you realize, what the fuck did I just buy? And then I had to sell it all at a loss just to like dump it all.
How much was the Bentley?
The Bentley, I ended up getting it for like 130, 140. So I gave away my Bentley that was worth more than the Lambo, and I paid the difference because I wanted this matted black on black, and of course through that time I wasn't thinking straight, and I got hustled from these other guys who were like selling these cars. I'm like, oh, I want my Bentley back. It was nicer than the Lambo because if you drive a Lamborghini, you're like, I didn't even drive it. My brother drove it. I was sitting in the passenger, and I'm like, oh my god, why did I do this? It was probably the worst mistake ever.
wow.
So how much was a Lambo? Do you remember?
It was oh man. So I think it was like 150, 170 for the Bentley, and when I sold it for 110, and then I had to cover the difference of the Lambo. I think it's like 150, 160. So it was like I had to came up for a car I could have gotten. I sold my car to take less, to pay more money in.
Oh yeah.
It's stupid.
And you just paid it cash? You just
Correct. No, just,
shit.
yeah, that was like stupid.
Okay.
What's the most you've ever profited on a single transaction?
Most I ever profited on a single transaction. It was like, this was before the crash. I think it was like, probably right before the crash. It was like 2000, 2004. I think like $40,000, $50,000 on a transaction on this this Hawaiian guy who had a place in New York, and he needed the cash. It was like kind of like a holiday loan.
It's Hawaiian New Yorker, dude.
We love those.
He had a club. His name was like Hakan something. I don't want to say his last name. Hakan something. So it was in New York before the crash happened in 08, and he needed to get a hard money loan, and I gave him the loan. And like, dude, I was like, what's that 50? Like, seeing all that money at one time, like, blew my mind.
How so you own a mortgage company. How does a mortgage company make money?
Well, we were like a small company. How we make money is we originate the loan. Someone comes to us, gives us, they want to get a loan, and then when they come to us to get a loan, we get it for them. And then whatever interest rate we increase, the bank pays us that incentive.
Oh, I see.
So let's say you get the bank to give you the money, and the interest rate is like 2%, and then you stack on whatever percentage on top of that to the person you're lending to, and then you make money on the difference.
It's kind of like whatever the bank is willing to pay for that interest rate. So let's say, and the numbers change, and it's hard to, there's no actual calculation on my side at least. Let's say you gave a rate of 4%, but instead of giving 4%, which is like the par rate, where it's like you buy this cup of coffee for $5, you sell it for $5, you're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
Well, if you sell it for $5.75, you're going to make 75 cents.
Yeah.
So the higher you increase it, the more you make. Of course, you want to see what's out on the fair market. Like, oh, everyone else is selling for $6. So let me sell for $5.75. Looks like I'm giving them a discount. That's where I'm making the difference.
So your company's taking the borrowed money from the bank, and then you're putting an interest on top of that?
They gave us the interest rate, what they're willing to buy that loan for. They're like, hey, today in pools of buckets, we're going to buy all loans at 5% at this price, 5.25% at this price, 5.5% at this price.
So when do you guys get the money like from the monthly payments that they're paying you, the tenant is, or the person who got the mortgage is paying, or is it a lump sum?
That money is paid to the servicer. So whoever's like servicing the loan monthly, they make a little bit of that money from the payment. We get paid directly from the bank, whoever's buying the loan. So let's say we fund the loan and then we sell to this bank, they're paying us the lump sum. But if you miss any payments, or they refinance out within 6 months, you got to pay back the commission.
Okay. So during your hyper ballin era, would you say, did you have a drug problem?
Yes, a serious drug problem.
What was it like?
I think I was pretty much coked out most of the times.
That was your preferred weapon of choice?
Yes, cocaine. Like I did the E for a while. I had one bad K trip, but mostly cocaine because
Cocaine and Hennessy, huh? Fucking Vietnamese people.
because you think about you have all these employees working for you, everyone calling you, need something from you every day. It's like everyone's pulling at you, and it just keeps you aware. It's kind of like limitless, but it is limited because once it wears off, you become very limited.
Oh.
So you were on coke while working?
Yes, correct. Like I'd probably do it during the daytime just to stay like mentally sane. I wasn't even doing it to
Get fucked up.
get messed up anymore. Yeah, I was just doing it just to like maintain.
So it started off from partying, and then it went into just like, this is my coffee.
That's that Matthew McConaughey fucking Wolf of Wall Street type cocaine, you know? Midday lunch. You want some? You gotta stay in the business.
What was the turnaround point that you decided, whoa, this is getting too much?
When I lost everything in 2017.
Oh, okay.
When 2017, people started. I left this one company to start my own company, and then in 2017, when I could feel it like leaving me. You ever feel like the power just leaving you? Whatever you were good at, you just feel it getting ripped out of you. Like, you know what? Let me keep fighting through. Then at the end of probably November 2017, I'm in this building by myself with no employees. Everyone's just gone. Jeez. Left owing like $1.7 million in debt.
Fuck.
God damn.
So you were telling us earlier that you and your wife had a rocky point. What was the closest you guys came to splitting up?
So in 2018, we sold our house just because we couldn't afford it anymore. that's when we split. And when we split, she, rented somewhere else while I moved home until I figured out life. Because she told me, why stress about being a husband? Don't stress about being a father. Right now, seems like you have a lot of things to figure out. We're going to go live here. Once you have your situation fixed, you're always welcome to come back.
How many kids?
The anxiety I had, like, oh my gosh, if I don't get my shit together soon, she's going to leave.
She would have bounced for sure.
I had one son.
One son? Do you still have one son?
I just have one son, yeah.
Okay.
So, wait, you're being very, very. Is she Vietnamese?
She's Mexican.
She's Mexican. Okay, never mind.
How come she?
I was saying, she's Vietnamese. Are you being rational and saying it like that? Like you're welcome to come back, or was it more like you better get your shit straight? Don't fucking touch me. But you know what I mean? Is it like way crazier than?
Like no, like she's like.
She sounds great, by the way.
Yeah,
She's so level-headed. Like that's she didn't like.
Oh, she was mad at me. She was mad through the whole time, but she like it. Sometimes like I don't know why she didn't leave me. Like I am like sometimes I thank God like, dude, why didn't you leave me?
That's so dope.
Damn, she really believed in you.
Yeah.
How come she and your son didn't end up moving in with you guys?
Because then if I have to be a father every day, be a husband, how can I reverse 1.7 million bucks in debt? And a lot of the debt too was under my brother's name because when we started the business, my brother had the best credit. He came out of the military, so he was like VA. So like it's a veteran-owned business.
So you had to make good on your brother too.
Correct.
So did you both fight for this together? Or?
No, I didn't. No, he just had to go on with his life. So I was stuck there fixing this 1.7 million bucks by myself.
So you had to fix his credit.
Yes, I had to make sure that there was no judgments, no liens, that his credit stays where it's at. I remember
Keep his good name.
Yeah, I had to borrow money from somebody just to make the Amex payment, and I had to borrow a lot. And then it went through some crazy system where like through PayPal, the guy tried to reverse it. I was like, I got in trouble with PayPal. It was like crazy times.
Did you ever, within that desperate time, did you ever consider getting into some shady ass shit to try to pay this off?
No, I literally was pretty much kind of suicidal at this moment. Like, you know what? This is like, I had the world at my fingertips. It's like, how did you fuck up so bad?
What prevented you from actually like committing suicide?
My son is like, you know what? I don't want his dad. I don't want him to think his dad was a pussy.
How old is your dad? I mean, how old is your son?
He's 7. At that time, he was 2.
That's powerful.
Can you explain? So after you and your wife split, when you guys got back together, could you walk me through slowly like what the first blowjob was like?
Bro, honestly, it was like probably
Walking through.
I say it was probably a year, 2 years into it because I didn't feel like a man. Looked like my dick was the size of a gummy bear. Sometimes it was more of an innie than an outie for so long because like I think with men it's all in the head. I think
It's all in the head, yeah.
in the head, so it's like even if she wanted to, it just was like I was pissing on my balls. You know what I mean? I just couldn't. I just couldn't.
So even during the split, you guys would try to hook up here and there?
No, we didn't at all. But then because she felt like I'm just not there. If with women, especially if you're married, not like just some random girl, they want that love. They want that intimacy of like a partner first before having sex. It wasn't like, when we met and we hooked up the first couple times really quick. What the fuck is going on now? It's like because you have a foundation of a marriage. You have a foundation of emotions. It doesn't just happen overnight. So it took like a year afterward.
Wow.
Like even out like a year afterwards. Yeah, it took a while.
So you got your shit together. You had that relief. You moved back in, and then so you had to build back that intimacy.
That intimacy, that trust, the no cocaine, like at that point I found Jesus again, of course, when you lose everything, you find Jesus quick, you know what I mean? So just like getting back into a rhythm, and then believing in yourself again. I think the hardest thing for any man or any entrepreneur is once you lose it all, to believe in yourself again.
Would you say that you guys became stronger though as a result of going through all that crazy shit and coming through on the other side?
Yeah, I think we're a lot stronger now. Now we communicate better. I think our relationship is stronger now than it ever was because a lot of people thought she would for sure leave me, but she stuck it out. So now before I think about doing anything stupid or even like, let me try this shady idea, in the Asian blood, we always got that gray, we all stay away from that gray, but I think about
slight loophole mindset.
So I think because she's been, like, I would never want to put my wife through any bullshit again. I never want to,
so that's
I've had a couple
motivation.
opportunities to do some pretty gangster stuff like
because as you get so good at what you do, you see all the holes in places that you could totally be shady. That's why I'm like, I'm impressed you don't do
and
that.
then being Asian, you have other guys who are shady Asians coming to you about like every scam under the book. Like, man, I'd rather make less and not even fuck with this shit.
Because then the pressure and the stress, like you've been through the stress and you're just, you know what it feels like to have that stress go away. And now it's like, I'd rather make less, but be able to breathe.
Correct.
Growing up, did your parents always believe in you?
No, my parents did not believe me at all. Like when I did well, it's like because I had that chip on my shoulder. Like I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm not gonna finish college. I don't care what my mom says. You know, I don't care if my cousin's a pharmacist or not. I'm gonna make more money than
They always compare the pharmacists.
Well, then what was that like moving back in with your parents at the lowest part?
My mom would tell me like, "Ryanimay." So my mom's like, "I told you so. I told you so." So
That's
like,
what that means?
And like it was like coming back for the second time in 2008. I came back. You know, but 2008 I was 28, and then 2017 I'm like, damn, I'm coming back at that age. Like,
That's funny to be in the room though as like an adult again and be like, "Fuck you, mom!" Like in the same room, in the same room you grew up in when you were 13.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in the same room.
With your race car bed?
But with I brought my bed back. I brought my bed back.
Still drawings, little glow in the dark stars in the fucking ceiling.
In your Integra Type R bed. What about when
Sung Hee Lee poster.
some kind of lead poster? When you were hyperballing, did you do anything to like flex on your parents? Like that's right, motherfucker.
I paid off the mortgage.
Oh, you did?
You did what?
That's a nice.
Wow.
Oh, so that means you're going back into the house you paid off the mortgage on, so you're kind of okay on it.
Yeah,
This is my house.
So that's cool. So like as you were hyperballing, like there were like almost little alley-oops that you set yourself up for.
correct. Yeah. Like I was giving my mom
true.
money all the time, so she went to, she'd go to church. Like, see, my son is smart. She's like, now she's talking all this good shit when things are going well, you know.
But that means when you lost everything, she lost a little bit too.
She kind of got quiet at the church, you know. She's like,
Oh no. But you never got into gambling at all?
no, I like some of my friends gambled. I kind of gambled, but then never got into it.
So your fun was just like partying, blowing money on drugs and that kind of stuff?
You know what? It was it was like, growing up,
Night
not being like
stuff,
the cool kid. You're out there, everyone worships the ground you walk on, but you feel so alone, and you're doing all this yak, but you're like, you feel alone in this room while everyone's here mooching off of you, but you're okay with it
yeah.
because they accepted you when your parents or your childhood friends or people you grew up with did not accept you.
So you felt like the popular guy.
Especially in club table economics. It's
Yeah.
like you get the table, all the girls go to your table.
Yeah, because they want free drinks.
Economics.
Yeah, it is. It's like a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
Totally.
The girls with the hottest
Yeah,
bodies.
the bottle rats. Yeah, they're trying to get next to your
Bottle
table. Yeah.
So back into mortgage a little bit. What would you consider is in the like real estate kind of entire ecosystem is like the number one thing that most people don't know, but that is like almost like a not necessarily a loophole, but like the greatest thing to take advantage of?
Right now, buying investment properties with these DSCR loans,
What's a DS?
debt service coverage ratio loans, they're buying homes. They don't need if you already own one home, you can just keep buying homes as rentals, and you're putting minimum like 15-20% down, and there's no income required. You just keep buying more and more and more, and that's why I think more investors. Also, there's more investors now because they were using this program to kind of get into houses without, any tax documents. They just run your credit. You're putting the down payment. As long as it rents more than the mortgage payment, then they'll give you the loan.
So you're talking about homes that are already rented out and they're selling investment properties.
No, you're just going out. You're buying them because think about 2020, 2021, even up till now. Think about when rates were low, you were getting it's pretty much a stated loan with just 20% down at like a 4 or 5% interest rate. So of course, as rent keeps increasing, it just covers the payment. But you were buying them without tax returns. They don't care, the other old programs, you could only use 75% of the rent. These programs allows you to use 100% of the rent. So you can keep buying more property.
Wow.
That's how people were just using their equity and buying more property. And that's how they start building their empire.
So let's say I buy a home with the DSCR loan, and then as long as my rental income is covering the mortgage, this is now safe.
Correct.
And now I can use the value of this home to get another DSCR loan?
No. Now you have that house. You just have to keep pulling money out of your other house, or you start, having your group of friends come together. Hey, let's keep buying more property. So people start buying these homes out in like Big Bear. They start Palm Springs. They go to.
That's why we couldn't find a fucking house in Big Bear. God damn.
Oh, Joshua Tree.
Yeah, they were buying these homes, and think about no matter what the mortgage is, if it's they allow you to use fair market regular rent, but if you rent it out as an Airbnb or as a Verbo, you're cleaning up, and that's how I think a lot of this new millennial generation of investors made their money.
Oh yeah.
And it's not too late to get on that bandwagon. You're saying that's like the thing to do right now.
Right now, it depends on where the location's at, because a lot of cities have blocked Airbnb or they've had certain restrictions. I think the go-to move right now is
No, say that shit off camera.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
people are getting divorced. So 1 out of every 20 people who get divorced sell their house within the first year. So if you knew enough divorce lawyers that tell you, okay, these people are getting divorced, you start approaching them.
Whoa, you're giving us a gem right now.
They don't want to list their home on the open market because like they don't want everyone to know.
They just want to sell and get rid of it.
Get out of it. So they'll take less. Or like, hey, we don't want it. We just want to dump it. We just want to dump it. I'm not gonna take that low of an offer. So if you understand their sentiment, you just come in like, cool, I'm gonna buy it this amount. Like, cool, just take it.
So that's
because
think
about it, if you two people hate each other's guts and they're trying to dump it,
They just want the cash.
Correct.
That's the new cold call. Instead of asking, are you interested in selling your home, you say, how's your marriage?
Yeah.
I think that's the big pickup of people getting divorced, especially right now during the recession. You know, money causes relationship issues.
Yes.
And then and typically one person can't afford to keep the mortgage going. Let's say 2 people break up. One person can't afford the mortgage, so they're selling. They're just trying to hold on for dear life as long as they can. Then they want to dump it. So I think those are popular, but not a lot of people know about them.
Yeah. Or they just don't want the memory attached to the house. Because the rental that I was living in, it was bought by a couple that was married and then they divorced and then they just turned it into a rental. But it's doing really well. But she was just like, you know what? I don't want it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Anyone got a final hottest question?
How big is your penis?
Not that big. It's got a small dick.
But it got bigger than the gummy bear, right?
Eventually it did.
Now you feel good about yourself.
Oh, last one. This is a huge question we usually ask all of our guests. Would you rather fuck your mom or your dad?
You have to pick one.
Oh man, my dad is my stepdad. I wouldn't.
You got lucky.
Quickest anybody's answered that.
Yeah, look,
You got the speed record now, dude.